Hey y'all, Dicaster D here, and this is a new series called Scrap Attack because I realize I have a lot of stuff to show that isn't long enough for a video, a lot of stuff in progress, and I realize a lot of my favorite YouTube machinists have series like this, so this is my version. I call it Scrap Attack because that was the original name of my part of the blog on Greens and Machines. So we're going to look at a bunch of stuff that's in the works, and a bunch of stuff that I just never shown, a lot of behind the scenes of how dirty my room is, and yeah, let's get into it.
greensandmachines.com.
So the elephant in the room here is underneath my reflector helmets, which I'm gonna make a video on, I think. The elephant in the room here is the turntable project that I've been working on for quite some time. It's like 80% done at this point, but it got put on hold because the school I was working on it at got shut down due to some bullcrap media scare, and it's just been sitting there ever since. So yeah, I casted the base and the platter, and all that's left is some of the wiring and a few parts for the tone arm assembly, the part that goes in here. Yes, it's a Technics 1200, which, as any amateur turntable maker would do, is copy the dimensions from it. Yeah, except mine's rounded because, well, you'll see when it's done. Here's a new beat I'm working on. Maybe a new background track, or actually it's for a song, but I'm not going to reveal it yet. The other project I'm working on in the progress is a sink cabinet, because I was at a garage sale and I bought a sink for $3 because, I don't know, I just always wanted my own sink. Like, ever since I was a kid, it was always, well, the first garage sale I ever went to that I remember, there was a drinking fountain and a payphone, but my mom wouldn't let me buy either of them, and I was so disappointed, because what kind of kid doesn't want a drinking fountain and a payphone in their room? So I bought a sink. I'm building a cabinet for it, and I got a pump for it so it can be portable. It's gonna have like a bucket in the bottom. I think this is the same pump my brother uses in his hydroponic system. That should be nice. Oh, while we're over here, this is a like a rack to put in the bottom of my Dutch oven for putting stuff on top of when I actually use it as an oven. That way the food doesn't touch the bottom of the Dutch oven getting burned and stuff. So I just folded that out of some leftover stainless steel from that trash can that I used to make the grain mill hopper, which is right there. Where were we? Oh yeah, the wood. So it's unbelievable how much wood gets thrown away. Like pallets, and like where I work, it seems like any time they get a pallet that isn't standard size or shape, they just don't know what to do with it and they end up throwing it in the dumpster. So I just always, whenever I have a project like this, I just wait for the opportunity and raid the dumpster. This one was from some, I think, a European pallet, and I always do my best to make sure I get those heat-treated ones, so make sure they don't have chemicals in them. But yeah, there's just so much good wood that gets thrown away. In other recycled wood projects, here's that table I built for my computer lab out of pretty much the similar wood. Here's that heat treat stamp, so you know it's clean. And the loft bed was also made out of recycled wood. It's still holding up after 2 years. Yeah, those 8-foot beams I dragged home with my trailer. Oh yeah, there's Squashy Grapefruit. He's pretty squashy today. And I don't think I ever posted this, but I recently put the bookcase in here because it was over here and it was really tall and looked ugly in the background of my videos. So I chopped off the top of it and put it in here for storage. What else interesting over here? My recording setup. I bought this condenser mic at a garage sale. I paid $40 for it, not knowing that that's how much it costs new, because it's one of those no-name import brands that no one's ever heard of. But hey, I figured if I'm gonna get a condenser mic, it's gonna be from a garage sale, the first one. And I'm holding that in a vise, which in a bit I'll show you the new vise I got. It's pretty amazing. The only disappointment about this computer lab was one of those light bulbs went out, so I only have half of the light that I originally did. Over here, I have a huge stash of sunflower seeds that I bought and conveniently put in a Tupperware that has a sunflower on the side of it. I actually moved it to that container because some small animal was trying to compete with me for them, ripping through the bag that they came in, so let's see him rip through the plastic. And there's some more in here that didn't fit. There's the grain mill. I'm gonna bring that out for another video. I've wanted to try cracking acorns with it, so I've got some harvested here because those are in season right now. I'm gonna let them dry for a bit because I cracked some earlier this week that weren't completely dry and it was a bit of a pain. I just use a hammer for those, but these ones I'm gonna put through the grain mill. I think they're the right shape, that the roller's just gonna catch them and crack them. So that'll be neat. What else? Oh yes, I bought a jigsaw. You know, to make chopping up all those recycled pallets easier. But the blade clamp was not the right shape and I over tightened it and broke it off. Well, it's over here actually. I over tightened it and it cracked right down the middle, so I can't clamp a blade on there. So I'm gonna make one of these that's bigger and actually the right shape. Yeah, it has the blades have this like T shape on the end, which the original clamp didn't account for, so they would just go all over the place. This will actually key them in. I'll probably make it in 2 pieces and weld it together or something. Maybe you'll see a video on that. I bought this awesome Great Northern train plate at a garage sale because I was like, you know what? I need some luxurious plates to eat off of. And then I bought it, but I was disappointed because on the back it says like, do not eat off of this because these paints have heavy metals in them that may be poisonous. I'm like, what the hell? Just ready to chuck it across the room. But no, I like trains, so I don't know. I just hold on to that for now. Where is this video going? This is not like the kind of video for those with short attention spans. It's more like the you're up late at night eating your 4th meal and you need something to put on in the background. Because that's where I find myself watching those videos. So I think that pretty much covers everything in here. Let's go outside. So there's that sink I was talking about. It's one of those really dated looking ones that were like in buildings from the whatever era, the 80s or whatever. It has those old style faucet handles. I like how these sinks look. Here is this vise. It was like the biggest murder mystery at work because no one knows who broke it. Someone over tightened it and just the cast iron just split right there. So what I'm gonna do is put it in the mill, face those off, and tap some holes in here to bolt some grade 8 1/4-inch bolts through there. And then I'll have a working vise for a fraction of what it would cost. As for the bike trailer, I mentioned I was going to overhaul this at some point because I was dissatisfied with how thin this metal is and how it just crushes when you try bolting stuff to it. So I have some aluminum server rack rails that I probably should have shown in the previous clip that I'm going to replace these with, and then find some slats for the side. I might just use this wood as like a temporary version of that for the slats, but that's going to be a lot more stable once that's complete. Over here I have a container garden that's kind of been neglected lately. I don't know what the heck this is, but the Prislan I had growing is still kind of alive. I planted some tree seeds in here. I don't know what, that might be one of them, but I have a grapefruit tree seed. That might be a date palm actually. Rosemary is like the only thing that looks like it is still what it is. But Prislan I think just comes and goes as it is. I think there's some stinging nettle growing here. Huh. That was not intentional. On my bike, I replaced the front rack with this kind of trash rigged together basket support, because the new style buses have these hooks that don't go all the way back to the head tube, and the old rack extended like this, so I'd have to hook it way up here, which was not stable, and my bike actually fell off the bus a couple times. So I adjusted it so it's up here so the hook can fit securely on any style rack, and that's been working for me great. That's actually made out of some patio table aluminum that was being thrown away. Oh, here's those other acorns I was talking about. I don't know if drying them after they've been cracked is a good idea, because they start smelling like bad avocado. But we'll see. Oh, and I got some new pedals for this one because when my bike fell off the bus, it kind of damaged one of the axles. So I found these. There's a bike sticking out of someone's trash can, so I just came by with some wrenches and picked them off. They don't have like the nice pink anodizing on all the sides like this, but you get what you pay for. See, that looks nice. One more thing that's recently occurred to me is how much of an amateur I am at woodworking, because I treat drywall screws like they're the only kind of wood screws that exist. Either that, or I've just never actually bought screws. I just use whatever I can find lying around. So I think I made this thing entirely with drywall screws, and it doesn't have any diagonal support, so it is kind of flimsy. But this one I have a bag of screws and I just throw in whatever I have that fits. So that's what I've been doing for actually the longest time. But drywall screws, yeah, they work for me. When I finally hung up that Coach Z medallion in my studio to get those vibes. For my Halloween costume a few days ago, I didn't want to wear the real heavy medallion, so I just made one out of cardboard. Got the job done. So I think that's about all I got to show right now. Let me know if you like this style video, or if it's just too all over the place, or too boring, or if you like it, it's good. And you got a preview of what's coming up. So, that's that.